Hey, what's going on? And welcome back everyone to another episode of In the Kitchen. I know it's been a long time, but today we are back and we have a meal from HelloFresh. Today, it's gonna be cranberry, apple, pork chops. Let's get the bag open, check it out. So let's go in our bag and see what we actually have. We have parsley, baby carrots, dried cranberries, spice blend, some chicken base, ground cinnamon, 2 apples, 1 whole onion, and Yukon Gold potatoes. We also have 4 center cut pork chops. In each HelloFresh package, it comes with a picture of how the meal should look and also step-by-step recipe. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna clean our vegetables. We're gonna get them ready and prep, and then we're gonna get them in the oven. So the first step that we're gonna do is we are going to get our potatoes, which I've already washed. We have our baby carrots right here. I'm gonna get this bag open. And for our carrots, we're just gonna cut these lengthwise. Now that we have those cut up, we're gonna go into our potatoes. For our potatoes, we're just gonna basically cut them into quarters. So that's gonna be 1 cut in half, and then you're gonna cut each half in half. Just like so. Okay, so now that we have these all cut up, the next step we're going to do is we're going to put them in a bowl and we're going to mix in some of the fall harvest spice blend that we got from HelloFresh. But first, I'm going to have my helper to spray these pans down. Thank you. I'm going to put the potatoes in first. A little bit of olive oil, please. We preheated our oven to 450 degrees. I'm going to open this. Sprinkle a little bit on the potatoes with the olive oil. Use about half of the packet. I'm going to toss this around. All right, we're gonna put a little bit of salt and pepper in. Okay, that's enough pepper. And then some salt. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna toss this around the bowl. And we're gonna put it on our sheet, just like that. And next, we'll do our carrots. Carrots go in the bowl. Olive oil. That's good. The rest of our seasoning pack. Sprinkle right on top of the carrots. Pepper. Okay. And salt. And salt and pepper is always going to be just to taste. Just remember that. That's good. And we're using a coarse ground black pepper. Just like that. And the salt that we're using is pink Himalayan. Spread these out on a cooking tray. And we're going to put these in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes on 450 degrees. I'll give these to my helper and she will put these in. So while we're doing that, the next thing we're gonna do is start working on our pork. All right, so here we have our center cut pork chops. Now these came from HelloFresh as well. They were in the pack. Now, only thing we're gonna do with these is salt and pepper them, both sides. So I'm just gonna crank a little salt. One side, pepper. And notice we did change out our cutting board just because we're gonna go back to that one, and you don't want to cross-contaminate it with the juice from the pork chops. Salt. All right, and pepper. Next thing we're gonna do now is take it over to our stove, and we're gonna brown these on both sides. So now this is what we're gonna do. We're over at the stove. We have our pan. We're gonna get it hot. So I actually turn it on. This the cookware that we're using is Calphalon 1 Classic. It's non-stick cookware. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some olive oil. I'm gonna drizzle this pan. Once we have that desired temperature, here we go. This is the sound you always want to hear when you put your meat in the pan. You never want it to just sit there. You want it to start cooking as soon as you drop it in the pan. Flip these over. I'm going to pull this off of the fire. I'm going to sit it over to the side, and we're going to come back to that a little bit later on. While our pork is sitting on the stove, we're going to go ahead and dice our apples and dice our onion. And we're going to chop our parsley. We'll start with the apples. Now the best way to dice an apple is just like this. Cut it down the middle. Cut the core out. And we're going to cut this in half. Just like that. By leaving this root part on, you're ensuring that your onion is going to stay together while you cut it. And we're going to just dice it as normal. So to dice the onion, you're going to go down vertically. And then you're going to go across horizontally all the way back. And then you're just going to go down. And that gives you perfect diced onions every time. Since we have our apples diced and our onions already diced up, all we have left is the Italian parsley. And I'm gonna let my helper take over from here.
Now I'm gonna chop the parsley.
So while she's chopping that parsley, I'm gonna check on the pork chops, I'm gonna check on the potatoes and the carrots, and we will be right back. So now we're back at the stove. We have our onions, our apples, we got our parsley, ground cinnamon, our chicken base, we got our dried cranberries. We're gonna put together our sauce. First things first though, we gotta cook these onions down and we gotta get them a little bit softer. So what I wanna do is add a little olive oil to that pan, and then I'm going to drop my onions in. The good thing about onions is they have natural juices in them and they have natural sugar in them. So if you take your onion and you add a little bit of salt while they're cooking, it will pull out the natural juice, the natural sugar, and it will help them to caramelize and cook a lot easier. Okay, so this is the actual color you want to see on the onions, a little brown, a little translucent. Now we have a couple more ingredients we are going to add. Our apples.
And our dried cranberries.
First, we'll put the apples in. And next,
we'll put our dried cranberries.
Now, we're going to add about 1/4 of a cup of water to this, and we're going to let it cook down and simmer. I'm also going to add the packet of chicken base that they gave us. And we're also going to sprinkle in some of the ground cinnamon. and just a little bit of the parsley. Stir that up and we'll let that simmer. So after this has simmered for about 2 to 3 minutes, everything's gonna get really soft in here. It's gonna thicken up a little bit. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this off. We're gonna get our pork out of the oven. We just basically finished the pork in the oven just to make sure that it was all the way done. But for now, we have our topping for our pork here. We're gonna grab that out of the oven. We already have our potatoes and our roasted carrots ready to go. Now all we have to do is plate and enjoy. So we have all of our ingredients ready. We have our roasted potatoes, our herb roasted potatoes and carrots right here. We cooked those on 450 for about 20 minutes after we sprinkled them with the olive oil and the seasoning packet that we got. Then we have the pork tenderloin that we have right here, the center cut pork chop. Now all we did was salt and pepper that. And we actually have our sauce comprised of the onions, the cranberries, and the apples that we diced up. Now it's only one thing left to do is get this on the plate and start enjoying it. And voila, there we go. Okay, so we finally finished, and this is what you have. Finished product: roasted carrots, roasted potatoes, cranberry pork chop. Now, you just gotta taste it. So, I got my little helper here. We are going to try it. I'm gonna cut off 2 pieces. All right. Got some apples. You like it? That's it. Cranberry apple pork chop with herb roasted potatoes and carrots. All from HelloFresh, all done in under 30 minutes. So until next time, you know where you can find us. It's in the kitchen.